Before we begin, I want to thank you all for being here tonight. If you like my stories, please consider giving me like and subscribe. It means the whole world to me. Enjoy the stories, and I hope you get the scare you're looking for. They said it didn't exist. The Red Room, just another deep web hoax meant to scare curious kids. A place where people were tortured on live streams, where viewers could vote on what happened next, each click a descent into greater depravity. But you couldn't just find the Red Room, you had to be invited. Jason didn't believe in that kind of crap. He was a computer science major, working his way through obscure forums and encrypted boards for a research paper on digital mythologies. That's how he stumbled across the thread. Red Room 33. Once you see the pop-up, there's no going back. It knows you. There were no replies, no upvotes, just that line. Jason stared at it longer than he should have, the light from the monitor washing over his face. He was in his dorm room, headphones off, door locked, the only sound the distant hum of the campus at night. He shrugged, typed a response. How do I see it? No answer. 2 days later, he got an email from a sender named Root. Subject, welcome. The body was empty. Just an attached executable named Red Room X. Jason stared at it for a long time. Everything in him said this was a joke, or worse, a virus. But something about the silence of it all, the lack of fanfare, felt real. Like a trap that didn't bother hiding because it didn't need to. He ran it on an old laptop, air-gapped from the rest of his network. The screen went black, then red. A room appeared, dim, lit by a single overhead bulb that swung slightly, casting a slow, nauseating motion across the walls. There was a chair in the center, shackles. A figure slumped in it, head hanging low, unmoving. Jason leaned forward. The image looked too real to be fake. High resolution, detailed textures. There was a rawness to the way the light caught the skin on the figure's arms. This wasn't animation. This was filmed. Then the screen went black again. A message appeared. Do you want to play? Jason felt his pulse thud in his neck. His mouth went dry. He clicked yes. Another message. Welcome, user. Then a menu popped up. Option 1, cut. Option 2, burn. Option 3, electrocute. Jason hovered, not sure what to do. It had to be fake. No one would really. He clicked cut. The screen flickered. The lights in the room seemed to dim. A mechanical arm lowered from the ceiling. It held a scalpel. The figure in the chair stirred. Jason froze. The arm dragged the scalpel slowly across the figure's shoulder. Blood welled up, thin and bright, trickling down. Jason closed the laptop. The nightmares started that night. He dreamed he was in the room. The lights swung above. The walls pulsed like they were breathing. In the center, the figure sat, bleeding, face hidden in shadow. But he could hear breathing. Wet, shallow, angry. Jason woke up gasping, drenched in sweat. He threw the laptop away the next morning, left it by the dumpster behind the engineering building. But the damage was done. Every time he opened his personal laptop, he'd see flashes of red. A pop-up would flicker on screen for half a second, then vanish before he could close it. Then came the emails, always the same. We're not done. He tried everything. Wiped his drives, reinstalled Windows, even replaced his router. But it kept coming back. One day he opened his laptop and the Red Room booted before the operating system did. This time the figure was facing the camera. It was him. Same black hoodie, same messy brown hair, same chipped tooth. The only difference was the expression, eyes hollow, lips stitched shut with coarse thread. Another menu appeared. Option 1, remove left eye. Option 2, remove right ear. Option 3, remove tongue. He didn't click anything. The countdown expired. The image went black. A scream burst through his speakers, raw, garbled, and personal. It was his voice, but strangled, like it had been dragged through gravel. He slammed the laptop shut and screamed into his hands. He wasn't alone in the dorm anymore. He started seeing the red light in real life. At night, his dorm room would glow faintly, even when the screens were off. One night he woke up and saw red light leaking from under his closet door, pulsing, almost like a heartbeat. He opened it, nothing but clothes. The next morning, one of his fingernails was missing. Blood on the bedsheet, no pain, no memory. That day, he stayed at the campus library until it closed. Avoided his room. Avoided the laptop. But when he got back, the hallway lights were out. Just the red glow from under his door. He almost left again. Almost. But he turned the knob and stepped inside. The laptop was open. He hadn't left it open. The red room was live again. This time the figure was standing, behind the camera, breathing heavily. On the wall, scratched into the paint in jagged gouges, was a single sentence. "You are not watching, you are inside." The light above his desk began to swing. There were footsteps behind him. He turned, and nothing was there. But in the reflection of the screen, he saw movement. Someone behind him. Too tall. Long arms. A mask made of red leather, stitched around the mouth. The same stitched mouth that his doppelganger had worn in the red room. He screamed and ran. Campus police found him at 4 a.m., barefoot, crying in the middle of the football field. He was incoherent, kept saying red room and it's me in the chair. They checked his room. No laptop, no blood, just one strange detail. The inside of his closet door was scratched and burned, almost like claw marks. He was sent home. His parents didn't believe him. The therapist said it was a psychotic break from stress. He started meds, tried to move on. But then the dreams came back. And the screen. No matter what computer he used, at the library, at his friend's place, even his phone, every screen would flash red. For a moment. Just long enough for him to see the swinging bulb, the chair, the slumped figure, and then it would vanish. Years passed. Jason never went near another terminal, worked a landscaping job, didn't own a phone, tried to live clean. But the red room never forgot him. He saw an old friend one day, back from college. She mentioned the red room was trending again. People on TikTok were pretending to find it, role-playing horror. Jason just stared at her, eyes sunken. "They think it's a game," he whispered. "It's not." That night, she found a flash drive under her car windshield. Inside, a single file. The legend grew. People online shared clips, screen grabs. Most were fake, but a few weren't. Some viewers said they'd watched a red room stream that felt real. One even claimed to see a man look directly into the camera and mouth the words, "Please help me. I'm still here." No one knows what happened to Jason. Some say he was committed. Others believe he became part of the red room itself. The current urban legend says if you watch the stream long enough, without looking away, without blinking, you'll see your own room in the background. And if you close the window too late, you become the next figure in the chair. You don't get to choose the options. Someone else does. For 5 years, Melanie Stone had worked the graveyard shift as an overnight moderator for a private cybersecurity firm. Most of her job involved scrubbing flagged content, deep web activity, darknet videos, dangerous forums, human trafficking intel. It wasn't glamorous, but it paid better than retail and let her work in solitude. She liked the quiet, until she found the stream. It was 3 a.m. when it came through. The AI crawler had flagged an unindexed .onion site with rapid encrypted packet transfers, high-level bandwidth, peer-to-peer stream. Melanie copied the address and booted a secure sandbox on the company's analysis server. She clicked the link, expecting another illicit arms market or gore dump. Instead, the screen filled with static, then red. The entire frame was drenched in a dull, oppressive crimson glow. The stream cleared slowly to reveal a room. Empty. One camera, facing a wall that looked like rotting concrete. The light above flickered inconsistently, and shadows warped across the walls in unnatural patterns. Melanie squinted. At the bottom right corner, a small message. Room 303, live, one viewer. Suddenly, a figure stepped into frame. Naked, shaved head, masked. The mask wasn't decorative, it was crude, stitched leather with eye holes cut wide, mouth sewn shut with black twine. The figure stood still for a long time. Then another message appeared. Instructions uploaded, awaiting vote. Below, 3 options. Option 1, glass shard, throat. Option 2, acid, eyes. Option 3, bolt gun, temple. Melanie reeled back from the monitor. What the actual... She hit pause. Nothing happened. She clicked the browser's X. Nothing. She reached to power off the machine, but her hand froze. The figure in the stream turned its head, slowly, precisely toward her. Then the screen flickered. The timer reset. There was no vote, no viewers. Yet the bolt gun rose from the floor, lifted by an unseen force, and fired. Blood misted the screen. Melanie screamed, and then the stream reset. She ran the logs. Nothing showed. No connection. No download. No data footprint. The site was gone. She filed a Level 3 report and added a psych contamination flag. Internal code for mental distress possibly induced by the job. Her supervisor called the next day, told her to take 3 nights off. Paid. Melanie tried not to think about it, but her dreams didn't agree. Every night she dreamed of red light and of room 303. On the third night, she woke up at 3:03 a.m. to her phone buzzing. Private number? The caller ID said 303. Her breath caught. She answered, static. Then a low, slow, wet whisper. Room's ready. Click. She threw the phone across the room. It shattered against the wall. She didn't sleep again. Melanie returned to work 2 nights later. She told herself it was just stress, that she'd been watching too many horror threads on Reddit. She avoided the crawler terminal and stuck to user-reported content for a few hours. But just after 3 a.m., her screen froze, then turned red. Not the UI, everything. Her entire desktop flooded with color. A single browser window opened itself. Room 303, live, wine viewer. This time she didn't click anything. She unplugged the Ethernet. Still live. She powered the terminal down. Still on. Now her webcam light was glowing green. The figure on screen stepped forward. The camera panned for the first time. On the far wall of the room, written in dried blood, was a sentence. You're already here. The figure removed its mask. It was her face underneath, but not quite. The skin was pale, half-rotted. One eye was missing. The lips were still stitched, but blood ran down the corners like she'd been screaming through the thread. Melanie screamed, falling out of her chair. The room was silent, but the monitor still whispered. The IT team couldn't find anything. No malware, no unusual logs. They blamed fatigue and hallucination. Melanie didn't fight it. She just wanted to leave. She went home and unplugged everything. Her modem, her router, her smart TV. She even powered off her phone and locked it in a drawer. But that night her apartment smelled like bleach. Like chemicals. She found red fingerprints on the inside of her bathroom mirror. 3 weeks passed. No stream, no red. Melanie started to think she'd beaten it. Until the dreams stopped being dreams. She'd wake up in strange positions. Her furniture moved. One morning she woke up handcuffed to her own bed. Another day she found her hallway light swinging side to side, though there was no fan, no open window. Then came the visitors. She'd get knocks at the door. At 3:03 a.m. sharp. The peephole always showed the same thing. Nothing. But once, she looked and saw a single eye staring back through the lens. Wide, pale, familiar. Hers. She screamed and backed away. When she dared return to look again, there was a key taped to the door. A single tag attached. 303. Melanie moved. New apartment, new city, no internet, just books and DVDs and her old cat for comfort. But the key followed her. She found it in her fridge one morning, once inside her purse, even under her pillow. Then, one night, her new neighbor knocked on her door. An older woman, quiet, polite. She held out a slip of paper. I think this is yours. Someone left it taped to my door. Melanie opened it with shaking hands. It was a photo, a still frame of the red room. She was in the chair, staring forward, mouth open in a silent scream. Her neighbor tilted her head. You okay, dear? Melanie shut the door without answering. She cried until sunrise. She called her old supervisor the next day. The line rang 4 times, then picked up. But it wasn't her supervisor's voice. It was hers. Room's ready. Click. She knew she couldn't escape it. So Melanie tried the only thing left. She broke into her old company building. Back into the crawler lab. All the lights were off. The terminal where she'd first seen room 303 was gone. In its place was a plain black desktop. A sticky note stuck to the monitor. In smeared red ink, "Welcome back, Mel." She sat down, hands trembling. The system powered itself on. Room 303 opened. No click, no prompt, no countdown. Just her, already in the chair. She was crying. A robotic voice spoke through the speakers. Final vote, choose carefully. 3 options. Option 1, forget. Option 2, return. Option 3, replace. Melanie's eyes filled with tears. Her reflection stared back from the red-tinted monitor. Her own voice, weak and tired, whispered, "Please, don't pick replace." Her finger hovered over the trackpad. She clicked forget. The stream glitched violently. The screen went dark. When it came back on, the chair was empty. Room 303 was empty. The feed went offline. Melanie awoke in a hospital. A doctor explained she'd been found unconscious in the old lab, malnourished and dehydrated. She didn't remember how she got there. Didn't remember the stream, the mask, the blood. Everything was a blur. They let her out 3 weeks later. She moved on, smiled again, got a job at a bookstore, lived a quiet, disconnected life. Until the day she got a postcard in the mail. Just one line on the front. Forgot something? The return address? Room 303. Alex wasn't looking for trouble. He was just bored. At 2 a.m., everything on the internet felt haunted. He was in his basement, surrounded by 3 monitors, half-eaten pizza crusts, and the ambient glow of a PC tower that purred like a content predator. It was the 3rd night he'd been exploring the real deep web. Not the conspiracy clickbait Reddit kids traded, but the encrypted, user-run corners that required actual keys and exploits to reach. He'd gotten into something new tonight. A strange message board with no name, only a string of Cyrillic characters and a red spiral icon. Each thread had only one reply. Each reply had only one word: watched. One post stood out. It was called, "Do you want to see what watches you?" Alex clicked. It led to a black screen with a single white button. Enter the red room. He hesitated, but only for a moment. The room loaded slowly. A grainy, flickering stream. Red light, concrete walls, a chair bolted to the ground in the center, no one sitting in it, just an empty space and a sense of being too late or too early. There was no timer, no menu, no audio. Then text appeared on screen, typing itself out. "We see you, Alex." He blinked, leaned closer. He hadn't entered a name. Suddenly, the stream zoomed in, autonomously, into the far corner of the room. There was something there, a shape. It was hunched, almost human, but wrong. Long limbs, no face, a pulsing black hole where its eyes should have been. Text appeared again. "One of you are welcome, Alex." The figure turned. It pointed directly at him. Alex slammed the browser shut. Nothing happened. For a second. Then every one of his monitors turned red. Even his phone, turned off, lit up on the desk, glowing crimson. Then it rang. Unknown caller. He answered, hand shaking. A voice rasped, barely audible. "Hey, don't look away next time." Click. The next day, he couldn't find the site again. Gone. He even asked around some of the darker hacker forums, but no one had heard of the spiral board. But something had changed. His webcam light stayed on, even when the camera was covered. One day he unplugged the webcam entirely. Still on. Another night, he was playing a game when the background music changed, twisted into a slow, whispery loop that said his name over and over. He tried deleting everything, reinstalling. Nothing worked. And then came the mirrors. One morning, brushing his teeth, he noticed the mirror was fogged from the inside. Not the glass, the reflection. He wiped it and saw something behind him. A flicker. Tall, faceless. Just watching. He got rid of his screens, his tech, his phone, everything. Went off grid, but it didn't matter. The red room came anyway. Not on a screen. In his dreams. In his thoughts. In the dead moments between sleep and waking. He saw the figure. Always just watching. One night, after 3 days without sleep, he woke to find himself standing in the middle of his basement. But it wasn't his basement. It was the red room. Same chair, same blood-slicked floor, same flickering bulb overhead. In the shadows, something moved. The Watcher. It stepped closer. Alex screamed, but no sound came out. The walls began to bleed. He woke in his bed, sweating and gasping, but there was something on his chest. A small red spiral burned into his skin. He went to the hospital. They ran tests. No evidence of trauma, no burn, just skin damage, like a scar. That night, the hospital lights flickered red at exactly 3 a.m. The nurse on duty said she saw a tall man in Alex's room, standing beside the bed. But when she looked again, he was gone. Alex checked himself out. Tried to leave the city. Took a bus to nowhere, a rural town with no cell towers, no towers at all. But the red room followed. He saw it reflected in puddles, on blank walls, on his own eyes in the mirror. One night, in a roadside motel, he woke to find the TV on. He hadn't turned it on. The red room was on the screen, but this time, the chair was not empty. He was in it, mouth sewn shut. The figure stood behind him, one hand resting gently on his shoulder. Text scrolled across the bottom of the screen. "You looked too long, now we look through you." He screamed and the screen shattered. The motel owner found him at dawn, curled in a ball, eyes bleeding. He couldn't speak anymore. His tongue was missing. No cuts, no wounds. Just gone. He's still alive. They moved him to a psychiatric hospital near the state line. No electronics allowed. And yet, every mirror in his room cracks down the center at exactly 3 a.m. Staff have stopped doing night rounds in his wing. One nurse quit after she found a video on her phone that she didn't record. It showed her standing in the red room staring at the chair. Behind her, something tall, faceless, smiling without a mouth. They say Alex draws spirals on the wall in blood now, that he watches even when he sleeps. That if you ever see a red spiral while browsing late at night, you've already been seen. And once the Watcher sees you, you never stop seeing it. It started with a list, typed on a sheet of white paper, no watermark, no envelope, just sitting there, on Daniel Moss's kitchen table when he got home from work. He lived alone, always kept the doors locked. The list read, Instructions, Day 1. 1. Turn on your laptop at 12:02 a.m. 2. Visit Red Room. 3. Do not look away from the screen. He laughed at first, thought it was a prank, a LARP thing from one of his more online friends, until he flipped the paper over. Scrawled in pen, clearly written by hand, "If you don't follow the instructions, we'll do it to your sister instead." His heart stopped. She lived 2 states away. He hadn't told anyone her name. 12 a.m. came. He booted up his laptop. The site opened itself. The screen filled with red. Not a stream, not yet. Just that horrible shade. Deep, wet red like raw meat. Then the words, "Welcome, Daniel. You have 1 viewer. Instruction 1. Remove the nail from your left pinky. Use pliers. You have 5 minutes. Failing to comply will result in your sister's right eye being removed instead." A countdown appeared. Daniel screamed, shut the laptop, yanked the cord, but the screen stayed red. On the TV, his phone, even the microwave screen glitched. He scrambled to the garage, found his toolbox, came back shaking, holding the pliers. He sat down, held his left hand steady. He wept the whole time. When the nail tore loose, he vomited. But the timer stopped, and the screen blinked. On day 2, another list was waiting for him. Same paper, same table, no entry, no explanation. Instructions, Day 2. 1. Do not leave the house after 11 p.m. 2. Open all curtains, leave the lights on. 3. Watch the stream, do not blink during the instruction. He complied. At 12:30 a.m., the stream began. This time there was a person on screen. A woman, face blurred, skin blistered and red, like she'd been scalded, bound to a chair, screaming, but no sound came through. Then came the instruction. Instruction 2. Remove your right canine tooth. You may use alcohol for sterilization. You have 7 minutes, or her vocal cords will be cut. The countdown began. Daniel begged, pleaded, "Please, I don't know who she is." The stream replied in text, "You didn't know your sister either. Until last night." He screamed, grabbed a bottle of vodka and a pair of pliers. This time the pain made him pass out. He woke up an hour later. The stream had ended. Blood covered his shirt. The tooth was on the floor beside him. A new message blinked on screen. "See you tomorrow." Day 3. The instruction list was carved into the wall of his bedroom. Same handwriting. His security cameras showed no intruder. He smashed the cameras. At midnight, the stream resumed. The person on screen was him, bound to a chair, looking terrified, but it wasn't live. It was a recording from the future. He saw himself sobbing, mouth sewn shut, trying to scream. The instruction was simple. Instruction 3. Choose. A. Cut off your left ear. B. Peel the skin off your palm. C. Watch someone else suffer in your place. Your sister again, this time her spine. The timer began. Daniel sobbed. He chose option C. The stream shifted. It showed his sister, screaming, back arching, a man in surgical gloves holding a scalpel. There was so much blood. Then the feed cut. Day 4. He didn't sleep, didn't eat. The instruction was injected into his eyelids. When he blinked, he saw it flash. Day 4. Sleep is disobedience. Stay awake or we will enter your dreams. He tried to stay up, but at 4 a.m. he collapsed. The dream was worse than the stream. He was in the Red Room. It wasn't a metaphor anymore. It was real. He could smell the copper in the air, feel the damp floor under his feet, hear the buzzing of 1,000 tiny flies. He turned. They were all there. Everyone he'd failed. His sister, the woman, even himself, a future version. No face, no eyes, just a gaping hole where a mouth should have been. It whispered, "You let them watch, now you perform." Day 5. The instruction list was branded into his skin. He woke up with the burns already there, fresh, raw, still smoking. That night the stream didn't ask. It just took. He felt it, his fingers moving without command, typing replies he didn't want to write, clicking buttons he didn't see. He was watching through his own eyes but couldn't control anything. And what he saw was worse. He wasn't alone. Across thousands of red-lit screens, he watched other people follow instructions. All over the world, tearing flesh, breaking bones, giving in. "We are the hands." You are the tool. You are the broadcast. Day 6. He stopped trying to resist. The stream opened. He stared back at himself. The chair, the blood, the stitched mouth. Then came the final instruction. Do not fight. Do not scream. When the door opens, follow the red light. The camera is ready. The audience is waiting. A knock at the door. Slow, rhythmic. He stood, walked to the hallway. The lights in the apartment flickered red. The doorknob turned on its own. Day 7, 12 a.m. Somewhere, a man sits at his desk. Curious, Clicking through darknet forums, he finds a stream. One viewer, a man tied to a chair, mouth sewn shut. A stitched name tag on his chest, Daniel Moss, performer. Then an instruction appears. Remove one of his eyes. Vote below. The viewer hovers over the button. Unsure, curious. The timer starts counting down. Anyone else getting this weird pop-up? It looks like a Twitch stream, but it's all red. Username says null view. No chat, no title, just a single viewer, me. And the stream starts every night at exactly 12 a.m. I never clicked anything. It just happens. What is this? Jacob Emery, cybersecurity analyst and part-time horror YouTuber, saw the post and flagged it immediately. The comments were exploding. Some joked it was a creepypasta, but a few others claimed the same thing had happened to them, except one account had been deleted mid-thread. Jacob messaged the OP. No reply. He pulled the username into a lookup tool. Last active, 12 a.m., day 1. His last message? He sees when I stop watching. Don't sleep. He gets closer when you sleep. When you sleep, he streams. That was it. Then silence. Jacob stayed up, 3 monitors on, packet sniffers running. Exactly at 12 a.m., one of his screens flickered red. He didn't click anything. It opened by itself. A stream. Red hue. Grainy quality. A single dim bulb overhead. The camera faced a person tied to a metal chair, head slumped forward, breathing shallow. Text appeared in the corner. Viewer, Jacob. Status, awake. Then a line scrolled along the bottom. If he sleeps, you replace him! Jacob's breath hitched. The figure on the screen raised its head. Bloodied, tired. It was the Reddit user. You, data splice. Alive, but barely. Jacob tried to close the window. Nothing worked. He shut the monitor off. The image was still there, burned into his other screen. He yanked the power. Darkness. He didn't sleep that night. Jacob uploaded his findings to a private Discord server of InfoSec experts and digital myth hunters. One replied immediately, "Whatever this is, it isn't software. It's piggybacking your system, hijacking visuals, pure visual injection, hyper rare, almost impossible. Stream tech doesn't match any known compression. The blood moves wrong. This is not CGI." Jacob posted a screen capture, but once uploaded, it corrupted instantly. A third user tried to view it. She messaged him 20 minutes later. "Why did you send that? I saw myself in the chair." She deleted her account minutes later. Jacob didn't want to watch, but the stream opened anyway. This time, the person in the chair was someone else. A girl in a hoodie, barely breathing. Her eyes were sewn shut with surgical thread. Her wrists were nailed to the chair arms. Text scrolled. Viewer, Jacob. Status, drowsy. Sleep swap. Do not blink for too long. Jacob sat frozen, gulping cold coffee, eyes wide. The stream knew he was tired. The image flickered slightly just once. When it returned, the girl's mouth had been pried open inside a small webcam. It was live streaming him. On a small screen, in her mouth, Jacob saw himself sitting at his desk, looking terrified. And behind him, something moved. Something tall, pale, faceless. Jacob's apartment was falling apart. Dishes piled. Curtains stayed shut. He hadn't slept in 3 days. When he blinked too long, he'd see flashes of the red stream behind his eyelids. He recorded himself sleeping in short bursts, reviewing the footage. On the 3rd night, he saw a figure crawl out of the corner of the room, lanky, shuddering. It stood over him for 13 minutes. When he watched it, the figure turned to face the camera. The footage corrupted instantly. He gave up fighting it. Let the stream open. It greeted him with, "Viewer, Jacob." Status, cracking. Cycle 6 of 7. The final dream is shared. This time, the room was empty. No chair, no victim. Just the camera, pointing into the dark. Slowly, the sound came in, wet breathing. Then footsteps. From behind Jacob's own monitor, his screen split into 4 panels. Each one showed a different angle of his apartment. Not recorded, not security cam, live. In one, he was visible. In another, something else. It was crawling toward him. Jacob threw his desk over and ran. Jacob found a church. Sat there, lights off, phone off, laptop left in a dumpster miles away. He watched the stained glass windows until sunrise. But even in the holy silence, he heard it. A soft click. A stream starting. In his head, a voice whispering, "Final cycle, final swap." There is no Jacob anymore. There is only the stream. A new Reddit post appeared tonight, same time as the first one. "Hey, anyone else getting a weird stream pop-up? It's all red." Shows this guy tied to a chair. I think he's still breathing. Viewer count 1. Username Fadevisor. Home status, curious. Thank you for listening. Hope I didn't scare you too much. If you like my stories, please consider giving me a like and subscribe. See you next time.